Well, Wrestlemania is back in the Southland for the first time in 18 years, with SoFi Stadium hosting the two-night event this weekend. Cody Rhodes, son of the late Hall of Famer Dusty Rhodes, is taking center stage, and the stakes couldn't be higher. He's up against six-time world champ Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal title. I caught up with Cody ahead of Sunday's main event.
Cody!
It still sounds surreal hearing, one half of the main event. This is Roman's 7th trip to the main events of a WrestleMania. This is my first, so I just got to keep his poise, kind of feel his composure a little bit, lock eyes with him, see how he's doing. But this is the big one in our world, and blessed and lucky to be in this spot.
It's a collision course too.
Indeed.
He's had this belt for what, 940 plus days.
It's absurd. Yeah.
You don't lose either, right? So what can we expect on Sunday?
With the amount of equity and reality going into this main event, it's a heavy amount of emotion, tension that you can cut with a knife, a collision course. Very much, you look at Hogan, Andre, the immovable, unstoppable force, immovable object, whatever it might be. There's something there that you can't call it, and you've got to see it. But I expect fans to have a heavy amount of emotion, whichever way it goes.
Obviously, everyone knows who your dad is. What was it like growing up in a wrestling family?
I thought he was a movie star at first, and then I had to dive in and look into these things and see who he was, and then how I didn't know him that way. He had me at 39. He was semi-retired. To see how revered he was, Carolinas and in Georgia, Florida, and Texas, and just his presence in that territorial system, and then ultimately going to WWE himself. That was very, even when you're really young and you want your parents to be proud of you, of course. I was very proud of him. Like at an early age, I thought that was the coolest thing.
I've heard you talk about your dad and just what he meant to the wrestling community. And that's something that you want to obviously follow in his footsteps, something that you do. How important and how special is the wrestling community?
You'll hear people who watch what we do, they talk about the casual fans a lot. And WrestleMania is this prime example of this thing that you say, hey, if you're coming, bring a friend. Because once you see it, once you dip your toe in the water, you'll understand. Oh, that's what this thing with a ring is. That's what this is. That's the magic. The community, though, like the hardcore fan, the longtime fan, the generational fan, this is their Super Bowl, what we're about to do with WrestleMania. I always feel compelled with the wrestling community to give them something that they haven't seen before, to give them a new flavor, to give them some new magic trick. If you had an idea as to what wrestling or sports entertainment is, and you walk into SoFi Saturday and Sunday, you'll walk out with a completely different thought on, okay, that's something completely different than I thought, and it's dang good.